It's good news that was preached to them and it preached to us, and then it says it was preached to them. Now, wait a minute. This was like thousands of years before Jesus even came into the scene. How did they get the gospel? Well, they had it, but it was in a miniature form. It's a little different. They had good news. The Israelites had good news. You know the story. If you don't know it in the Bible, you go rent The Prince of Egypt. It will explain it all. The good news was they didn't have to continue to be slaves in Egypt. And God would lead them into a land that was flowing with milk and honey. And I always struggle with milk and honey because I don't really like milk. And there's some way sweeter things nowadays. So maybe like, I don't know, Fanta and what? And frosting. Just straight frosting?
Really sweet.
Well, yeah, okay. Cold Stone and In-N-Out. Now that's the kind of land I want to go to, where it's just Cold Stone Creamery and In-N-Out on every corner. Heaven. Anyway. So God promised this to the Israelites, that he would get them out of slavery, that they would have this land of their own, and that he would be with them and give them rest. They had this gospel preached to them. But what does it say? But the message they heard was of no value to them, because those who heard it did not combine it with faith. They had the gospel. They had good news. But you know how they treated it? They treated it like junk mail. You get it in your mailbox, you look at it, it's from a store, you know, Nordstrom's or Rouse, and it's like buy one, get one free, half off, limited time only. And you just throw it away. You don't choose to believe it, you don't choose to walk in it. And so they threw it away like it was junk mail. God, I know you said all that, but that's not for me. A lot of times, we can do the same thing. God, I know you said all that, but right now I'm in this particular situation that I don't think you truly, you might not get it. We won't be as bold as to say, God, you don't get it. You might not get it, Lord. It was of no value. It had no advantage to them, just like if you ate some food and it never digested. Tastes good going down, but of no use to you. And that's how we are. We read it. This is great. You hear it from the pulpit, from the stage. That's great. And you do nothing with it. Junk mail. It's time to believe God for rest. He says it was no value because those who heard it did not combine it with faith. Anybody here like to drink Kool-Aid? I mean, even if you don't now, you know, back in the day, when we was a little boy, we just take the whole pitcher. Kool-Aid, a packet of flavoring, some water, some sugar. The issue is this. Don't just pour the flavoring in and pour the water in and pour the sugar in and then try to drink it. That's nasty. I'm only saying this from personal experience. What you need to do is stir it up. Combine it together. And so you have this gospel of rest. You have this good news, but you need to combine it together with faith. You need to stir it up. You need faith. Faith is the missing ingredient. He says, that was them, but now us. Verse 3, now we who have believed enter that rest. We who have believed enter into that rest. Enter. Seems simple enough. Enter, exit. You've seen the signs before. To go out and to come in, to a different location. That's one way that we understand the word enter. But enter also is a metaphor for getting into another condition, another state of being. That's why I said in the very beginning, rest is not a time or a place. Rest is a relationship. Rest is an internal condition based on your relationship with God. It's a story in the Gospels. The boat is on the Sea of Galilee. All the disciples and Jesus are in it. The storm comes. The waves falling over the boat. The wind is blowing. It's raining hard. Peter and the boys are trying to save the ship. What's going on? Where is Jesus? Where is he? He's asleep in the back of the boat. He's the embodiment of rest. Why? Because he has an internal condition based on his relationship with the Father. And that's real rest. To be connected to God by faith so much that no matter what comes your way, it's cool in a fan. You don't have no worries, no anxiety, no stress. I've been there. I love it when I'm there. It's like, oh, you want to do that? That's great. That's just great. It's when I start laughing, and sometimes Yvette kind of looks like, are you serious? Because I know who's in control. Now we who have believed enter that rest. And then he goes on to further explain it. So I declare, just as God has said, so I declared on oath in my anger, they shall never enter my rest. He brings the quotation back up because he says, I swore that this one generation wouldn't enter. And then he was talking about that land of Israel flowing with milk and honey. But some people, the other generation, the next generation entered. Then he says, we entered. Now, I was born in Harbor City. And I lived in Compton, and I lived in Linwood. At Compton, okay, CPT. Lived in Torrance, lived in Lomita, lived in Pasadena. I haven't been to Israel. That's my point. And so he's referring to the land of Palestine where I don't think any of us have been. So what is he saying? He's saying rest is not a place. Rest is not a place. I know we started thinking about rest, and the beach came up, and the couch, and the Matt's blue chair. We started thinking of these places, but he's saying, no, it's not a place. A lot of times we strive. I mean, sometimes I'm waiting to take a vacation. I'm going to go away. If you take a vacation and you keep all the stress in your head, you haven't really taken a vacation.